Here we start our journey, aerial journey with a drone, and as you can see on the left is the Manu River Bridge, the railway bridge on the left, and the grand Manu River of our area of the Manu Valley. And as the drone continues its journey eastward, you can see on the right homesteads, and between the homesteads are the agricultural land that did not get cultivated. Even though the river is right next door, no one has thought about taking the water from the river over to the land on the right, and most of the land remains uncultivated as a result. This is the grand failure of our agricultural system, where we have not navigated the river along with the adjacent rice field in order to take the river water to the agricultural field to maximize production. Historically, this has not happened over the last 50 years. No one has bothered. Even though grand pundits, scholars have written about the river, written about the agriculture, they have gotten their PhD about the agriculture, they have lamented as to why the Boro cultivation is not happening. They have lamented about the fact that all these Siletis are not cultivating the land. But no one has taken the tiny little step of coming up with some ideas and some projects of taking these rivers, in this case the Manu River, and you can see the completely uncultivated land on the right, remaining completely uncultivated, which could have been put to use to maximize rice production so that we did not have to import so much rice from overseas. Even this year you have heard that just from India and Pakistan we have bought 100,000 tons of rice at the cost of $40 million. With 1/10 of the cost in this area, we could have produced, even in my own Upazila, we could have produced this volume of rice by spending only probably half the amount or 1/4 of the amount. So as you can see, the Manu River meanders, makes an horseshoe kind of bend, and again it's very visible that the land did not get cultivated, even though the river has water. So now, following this meandering river, we are kind of going towards the Indian border, towards the east, and then you see the giant vista of homestead, of course, and of course there is a lot of land elsewhere, but we have stuck to this particular area because we want to always have the river on the site, so we can kind of map the area right next to the river. To emphasize the point that if only a little bit of money were to be spent to irrigate water out of the river and put it into the land, then we could have the whole area brought under Boro cultivation. And as you can see in the graph that there is Bukshimal Union, which is in the Haur area, there is almost complete utility of the agricultural land during Boro because Haur is there. But you see in contrast the Hazipur Union, as you can see in the video here as well, then there is a kind of zero Boro cultivation because the river water has never been brought into the agricultural land with the appropriate irrigation. So the purpose of this video is to point out this for just one union, which is Hazipur Union, and also point out to the proximity of the river, and to point out the big failure of our policy with respect to agriculture, that we did not make the river water available for the Boro cultivation, which could play a very major role for our food security. From Sultanpur, we are going east towards Andokuna, and again keeping the river on the left, Manu River, and you can see on the right again it's the same story, homestead, but then land that has not been cultivated by for Boro, simply because again I'm harping on the same theme that no one has bothered to come up with a scheme of taking the river water out to the locality. And most of the people I know, because I have been on the ground, they are very desperately poor. These are peripheral area that we can call the Prantik area of Sylhet district, very close to the Indian border, and people are just completely disempowered. almost looks like deliberately disempowered over the years since 47, I guess. It's never been empowered. And we always talk about Bangladesh becoming a breadbasket in Dhaka city, and we have all the agricultural economists and all the people pontificating. But you don't see a single person coming into these areas and finding the obvious, which is that there is a river, there is water, and everyone is talking about, oh, we don't have water, and we are running out of ground, tube well water or deep tube well water. The water table is getting empty. But we have river, and we need to map areas where there is plentiful water next to the river, and at least bring those land under irrigation during Boro. And it doesn't have to be rice only. It can be wheat. It can be other vegetable. And the government obviously and non-government sector as well need to play a role in this. But in order to play a role, you need to come on the ground and actually navigate the area and find out where the opportunities are, what are the pumps that are available, how much infrastructure cost it will be to bring these river water into all these outlying areas is being seen here. So that was my impetus to make this drone video, at least to point it out to the policymakers of Morbi Bazar district, Kulaura Upazila, and we are talking about just one union, which is Hazipur union. So here you are looking into the Manu bridge near the Chatlapur, near Namouza, near the Chatlapur border, where sometimes the river is the border between India and Bangladesh. And you can see that these are not totally agricultural area, but there are agricultural area also. Normally there is rice field in there after the rain starts in April and May. But here there is absolutely no rice cultivation. There is in fact no cultivation, and the land is completely empty, mainly because there is no water. Here you can see the area of what we call our own area, Amtali. And here you can see what can happen if there is a bit of water, because on the left you see due to groundwater irrigation we have a deep tube well, and then it's almost like fighting against nature. In a small patch we were able to introduce over the years some Boro cultivation, and one of my cousin is playing a strong role in this by bringing in water so that the people can have Boro cultivation. And I myself do my agriculture here simply because this irrigation is there. So you can see what can happen. And you can see this is like a drop in the ocean. In this whole oceanic mass of empty land, if you will, you can see a little patch of green on the left here. And all my own work and Panchaprihi and everything could happen because there is a bit of irrigation. Now going back to my old theme, as I've shown the river before, that if we could bring in the river water in the whole area. So if you have 10,000 acre is about, let's say, 5,000-6,000 hectare. And if we have 10 tons per hectare, then we have 50,000 tons of rice worth about $20 million. And we recently bought 50,000 tons of rice from Pakistan and 50,000 from India for $40 million. So just by bringing under irrigation one union, Hazipur union, we could have produced $20 million worth of rice that we are now importing from overseas. And so I made this video to bring attention to the Agriculture Ministry, Secretary Agriculture and these kind of people, and to point out to them that please come forward and make this irrigation possible from the river. We have the land, we have the technology. I have developed 5 harvest rice. There are other rice from Biri and imported rice from China. All kinds of rice is there. But without water, there will be no rice cultivation. And we have the river in our area. We are fortunate to have the river. So I am appealing to the policymakers to please come forward, put up the pumps and the irrigation lines so that the water could come to the land where it belongs. and then continuously be a sustenance for our agriculture from this river. Because Bangladesh is a country of river, as you can see here, there's a meandering river in the whole area, and it is our duty to make this water available for agriculture, for food security, and for poverty alleviation, and for rejuvenation of our villages.